at the time of joining. And at that time, the education secretary had told us, children have rights, and one of their rights is education. So then we told him even they have a right for health and well-being also. And what he told us in reply was, but in health and well-being, it is not written that immunization is compulsory, but education is compulsory. And if you don't give education, you're in trouble. So there is one thing, there is that place where you come to know, no, there are rights. So everybody has a right. Children especially have their rights. And I think so we should be aware that, in schools also, I think so you see some beautiful number in the behind the buses, that 1098. Children are calling those numbers. So there is the one thing we have to be aware of. So a right of a child is very important. Though we say that the parents as well as the caretakers are looking after the children, but at times children feel that their rights are being disturbed, and they might come back to us. So at any time, given point of time, we should be aware what are their rights, what actually we are supposed to do, how can we protect them, or is the parent or someone doing something wrong. So I think so awareness is the most important thing among ourselves, and then only we can get be aware, we give that message out to the public as well as to the children if they are on the wrong side also. So definitely this program, when Ashok Kumar sir had brought out this idea, definitely IAP Kerala has taken it up, is because we have to be aware of certain things. And I think so best the person who will start off with the child rights program today is Dr. AB. So I think so that will be a wonderful session. So wishing the week program all the best, and declare that the Child Rights Week has inaugurated. Thank you, JAP, JN. Over to Dr. Ashok.
Thank you, Dr. Shimi. Now we will move on to the scientific session. I request Dr. AB to start sharing the slide. I think Dr. AB is our boy because he was in Kerala for a long time. Even he belongs to Kerala. He's a Malayali, but born in Udupi and settled in Udupi. But he has seen in Bishop, this Tiruvalla Medical College. Then only I came across this gentleman, and in fact he helped me. I think he did a major work when I brought out the two books on child rights, and he was in Mangalore for some time, and now he is working in Saptapadi Medical College, Bangalore, as a professor of pediatrics. He is trained in emergency medicine, but his passion is child rights, and he had a couple of diplomas in legal side also. So he will be the right person to talk about the child rights. And the point is, bringing out is also very important. Is it important for the pediatrician? So that is the question he is asking, and that answer will come from him only. Over to you, Dr. AB.
Thank you, sir. I'm audible, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank IMP Kerala, and especially Ashok sir, and especially for at least here. So the only point of this today's talk actually per se,
I mean, there is slight disturbance. Is there slight disturbance?
Can you hear me, sir? Now?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Now it is.
Okay, sir. So actually, whenever we talk about child rights per se, like all of you have told, this topic is very light. So hardly we find any participants for this child rights program or child rights week or anything like that. We talk. Somehow it gives the impression that it's a very formal thing. And even if this prediction itself, we do not have any participation per se for the workshop. In spite, though it was very well planned, and to say we did not have enough participants. So somehow, for the period of time, in the last 3-4 years, I noticed that because of our concept of child rights, we think it is to be something to do with the legal point or laws or all those things. But this time, I thought maybe we have to have an approach to child rights in a little different way. I don't know whether I don't know how this will be taken, but whatever today I'm going to talk, it's going to be a very short talk. It is just an interpretation of child rights per se in our day-to-day life, what it means as pediatricians. And I'm not going to bore you with the real, hardcore theory of child rights, because there are two wonderful books. Both were very well written. One, I think, Naran sir was there recently. two books are there, which is always available for easy if you want to read. I'll just share my screen. Sorry, sir, 1 minute. So today's topic per se is child rights. Is it important? First of all, a disclaimer. Sorry for any unintentional mistakes, because today is not going to be typical child rights presentations where we talk about the principles, policies, and all those things. It is today's basically how to mix the concept of child rights as pediatricians on a day-to-day basis. Like as sir said, the sir actually asked me to put one CV slide. That is why I put. Otherwise, usually I don't put the slide. So basically, after finishing my post-graduation, I did fellowship. Then I did my post-graduate diploma in medical law and ethics and post-graduate diploma in child rights law, both from National Law School, Bangalore. So why child rights per se is important? As you know, children are our assets. There is no doubt about it. Children are the most wonderful. Children start their life totally as dependent beings and totally dependent on everything. As children depend on us for everything. The actions or inactions of the government impact children more strongly than any other group in the society. The healthy development of children is very crucial to the well-being of society. So now this is children are assets. So basically, because of children are assets, the concept in 1989, our UNCRC came out with that policy that anything
Abhi, sorry, there is some disturbance in the audio. Can you speak a little more close to the mic, or is it?
It is.
In between,
can you hear me, sir? Now?
Yeah, it's clear. It's better. Okay, thank you.
So just I will just try. How about now, sir? Hello, sir. Hello.
Better.
Okay, sir. So this is basically based on UNCRC. The concept of child rights is based on 4 principles. Basically, best interest of the child, survival, development. These are the things that is being concentrated when we talk about child rights. So basically, if you want to concept or if you want to concentrate on rights of a child, this is basically from a literature called child rights in right. So they tell that rights of a child is that is survival, right to education, right to protection, right to participation, right to development. Then comes right to health and well-being, right to education, right to expression, right against discrimination, right to safe environment. So basically, these are 10 rights of a child, which important point, which I strongly agree in, which is important. So now coming to the question is what we can do. So what is so special about us? Us means, by what I mean is, us means as our profession as pediatricians, what is so special about this? We are actually the custodians of child rights. What I mean by custodians is we come across children on a day-to-day basis more than anyone else. We come across children when they're the vulnerable time. That is when they are sick or whatever. We come when they're sick, or they come to us for routine visits or whatever time we come across children, especially those who are having practice in an area for a long time, they will see the child grow. So basically, we are the custodians of that child. Custodian means I use the word custodian, not the guardians. Custodian means everything that is related to the child, we are supposed to take care. We have got definite roles in each rights that I've come across in each completely. So when we need to be more selfless and proactive in the matter of child rights. So when I mean proactive is whenever programs like this are conducted, most of us need to participate and we need to make sure that we are aware of it. And what we can do in this talk, basically, I'll tell what we can do towards us as towards the parents and what we can do towards ourselves. So to us as us means what I mean is to us doctors or pediatricians, we should be ready to speak for them and protect their rights. Just like how Shimisa just now said, when they went for the vaccination card itself, like we have to stand for them. So most of the times what happens is people confuse human rights and child rights. They think it is different. We think child rights, children are the beneficiaries of rights. Like the children are not beneficiaries. They are the owners of the rights. Every children has the right. We are not giving them the right as a gift or something, but they are given the rights when they are born in this country. So basically, we should be ready to speak for them and protect their rights. And why we should be ready to speak to them is in this community, anything to do with the children, the only people who can really make difference is pediatricians, because we take care of their health, we are the custodians, and people will listen to us if we are ready to speak up for them and if we are ready to stand for them. We need to interact with other professionals, use social media platforms for spreading public awareness. The other professionals, most of the times we find ourselves, we might have an idea, we might have things which we need to do, but we are not able to do, but we need to have other professionals. Social media platform, which IAP has started now, IAP Man Ki Baat, I hope that will be one of the first steps, which will be using the social media platforms for spreading our public awareness regarding this child rights. And we need to have commitment to ensure safety and security of children, which should not be as an act of generosity, but we should consider it as rights. Now, what are the things specifically what I want to tell that what we are supposed to do? One of the first thing is, we all pediatricians must be familiar with the POXCO Act. It is a must, we must know about it. And second thing what we must know is, when it comes to child rights, though sexual abuse is the most heinous form of child abuse, we must be aware of other forms of abuse like neglect, physical abuse, emotional abuse. All those things also form a part of abuse, and this along with sexual abuse. So just like this, though sexual abuse is the most heinous form, we must be aware of other forms of abuse. And one of the things that all pediatricians must know is to be familiar with POSCO Acts. So there are multiple POSCO Act workshops being held over the period of time, regularly every now and then, but it should be, we must participate and we must be aware of it. We cannot say that we are pediatricians, it is done by someone else, someone forensic medicine or gynec will do it. No, but we as pediatricians must be aware of this POSCO Act. We must know the standard operating procedures required for registering a medical legal case, proper collection of samples, treatment of physical genital injuries, initiating HIV prophylactic therapy, and referral for baseline mental evaluation. There is no excuse for this. Why I am insisting on there is no excuse for this is, again I told, we are the custodians of children. So there are chances that a child will open up towards us regarding abuse, especially sexual abuse. So when that is there, because of POSCO Act says mandatory reporting, it is more must on our part to say, to know the standard operating procedure, because if we don't know what to do, we can be fined and we can even be imprisoned. So it's as pediatricians, we must know. And every I tell us, and I'll come to it later. Be aware of Child Helpline Center or personal area. See, we all of are aware of 1098 or whatever numbers is there. But then how many of us are aware of where is the Child Helpline Center or who is the person we can contact in our area? So whenever we are working in an area, we must know who this person is. So if we can have that person's number or person's place, it is up to our responsibility to put it up in our clinic, or if we have a hospital, put it up in our hospital. The place where everyone can access the details of this person, or where the location of a child help. Sometimes what happens is patients or the children may not be, or someone who wants to complain may not be comfortable to tell us. But if they see that there is someone, there is some number or some person, something has been put, no, they'll tend to use that facility. It doesn't take much from us to find out who the person is, or what is the helpline center, where is the location. It's very easy to find out, and we must know, put some effort to find out what it is. And please have their contact number with you. Try to build a rapport with them so that you can contact them, you can call them, and we should be able to be free and don't hesitate to report or notify whenever it is needed. Child helpline and protection service immediately implemented, so counseling and other supportive services can be started for the victim and family. See, this is what I mean. If we know who it is, where it is, how it is, so we can be the we can bridge between that the initial inhibition of how to go approach them for the person who has been abused or the family who is the child has been abused. We can act as a bridge because they will tend to trust us because they have been seeing us for a long time as the child grew. So it will be easy. So it is our responsibility to know who is the child helpline personnel in the area, have a contact with you. Now coming to child, what this is specifically, can we be more rational in treatment? See, as I told, UNCRCI says Every child has got a right to survival, right to life, right to have what you call right to have survival, right to life. So what problem is we do a lot of things in our treatment, maybe because of multiple reasons, maybe because nowadays because of medical legal reasons we tend to overtreat, over investigate, or because of certain things we tend to do things. A lot of other factors affect our treatment. So how does this affect child rights? See, one of the principles of child right is one of the principles of medical ethics per se. This is where medical ethics and child rights merge. That at least that's what my thought process is. Because medical ethics, one of the certain principles is do good, do no harm, and autonomy and justice. So when we do good or do no harm is basically what we look treat a child in the best interest of the child. So the best interest of the child is basically in medical ethics we'll tell do no harm or do good. So that is why if you be more rational in our treatment, indirectly we are actually protecting the right of the child. So that is a rational treatment means I told you. So I'm not anyone to tell what to treat, how to treat, but most of us know what I mean by this. A lot of factors that affect our treatment, but it is time that if you want to think, if you want to put the child ahead, or if you want to consider child rights per se, if you want to look at the best interest of the child, if you want to look at medical ethics per se, it's time that we become more rational in our treatment because a safe childhood definitely affects how the child turns out to be an adult. So, as pediatricians, how can we advise to the parents? Parents should be educated about positive parenting practices without falling back on physical or emotional abuse. When maltreatment arises from frustration, stress management can be taught, and parental child bonding can be promoted. So what is the meaning of this parency? All of us as are pediatricians, but but all of us are parents also. So we are a mixture of both. So parents should be educated on positive parenting. So when we do this, it's not that you go to a function or you go to some PK meeting and you cannot give talks about positive parenting practices. It should be done along with our routine OP care. The problem is in the routine OP care, what happens is when we see a patient, when we take care of a patient, we are worried only about the disease process. So, but again, as a child rights, one of the good child rights is best interest of the child, child's survival, child's development, child's participation. It is not only we are not worried only about the health. We should look about other aspects of the child's as per if you want to protect the rights of the child. So what? So how do we do? So whenever a child comes to the OPD or OPD clinic, just reaffirm what is happening. How are you, or how did you eat food? What did you have? How is school? Or did anyone? Are you finding any difficulty in school? It doesn't take much time. See, actually, when you're examining a child or something, these random questions when you ask, we get a lot of information about how it is. And when you're examining a child, look for any signs of physical abuse. Like it is not sexual abuse, but physical abuse or not. So all these things, no, it's up to us as clinicians, rather than looking at treating the disease per se, we should look about all these things. This is how we can protect the child, and we can what we call reflect child rights in our day-to-day practice. The preemptive ways to reduce likelihood of sexual abuse is to tell parents to teach their children how to differentiate between good and safe touch, bad and unsafe touch from your. This is something which is very essential, and this is happening nowadays. If you see in most of the schools, I think in IIT Kerala has played a role in this, but a lot of schools and a lot of institutions are paying importance to what is good, say good and safe touch, and bad and unsafe touch from very young age. It's very, very important. They should be taught not to speak to strangers or take candy from gifts and from strangers. So this is something which I see most of the children, if when they come to us in the clinic or when they see us, they will be more receptive for these behavioral changes advices from us pediatricians or as doctors rather than parents. Some of the children consider us we should consider us to be what is say more respectful, or what we say is more of value to them, or if you appreciate them, if they take it of more value than what parents tell. So if we tell that do not speak, or says, did you don't take this, don't take candy, don't take gifts. See, I'm not saying when we have to bring this in the practice, but then these are the things that when you see a child, other than the illness per se, You should treat the child. If you are thinking about child rights per se, all these aspects should come. So one more way all these things can be covered is senior OP. When the patients are waiting outside for you, you can have pamphlets, you can have printouts, you can have posters, indirectly mentioning all these things. So what happens is that, as again I told you, children tend to look up to us and they take what is it, behavioral advices from us doctors better than parents per se. This is something which, again, as to the parents, sometimes what happens when parents come to us, because of multiple reasons, they may not be able to afford healthcare. So it is our responsibility to keep the ego away and to tell them that there are other referral centers available where you get subsidized treatments or free investigations. Inform about the various Ayushman Bharat is just an example of various government schemes that are available, healthcare services that are available. So if you want to protect a child's right towards health, so basically, again, coming to the UNCRC, that is survival, development, and right to life, when you want to say, if you want to have a right, all these things, if you want to have, child needs to have good health means, if when the patient comes to you, if you feel that child needs something more, but you cannot provide it because the patient cannot afford your care, it is our responsibility to make sure that it is gone. So I'll give a simple example for this, which give an example for this is it goes both ways. I'll tell you. There are two sectors, as we know, private sector and public sector in our healthcare. So there is one of the most common area which this clash is the immunization. So there is both public sector and private sector. Public sector, as you know, it's free vaccines, and private we have to pay. So suppose it's our objective for a child as pediatricians is to get the child vaccinated. So get the child vaccinated, get the child healthy, get the child as many vaccine which can be given, make him free from vaccine preventable diseases. So what happens is, if you go to when the patient goes to public sector, they hardly are informed about the vaccines that are available about the private sector. So when they go to a private sector, they are never informed that there are vaccines available in the same vaccines can be available free of cost. So what is happening here? We are not letting the child, basically what the principle of child rights is mainly about is participation. Yeah, first of all, child doesn't have, and child's autonomy. We're not giving a child autonomy, neither are letting the child participate in this treatment. So what is the best way to go about this? If you, I say per se is, if the patient can afford, continue in private. If patient cannot afford, inform that there are things that are available in the public sector, and whatever is not available in the public sector, you can always come and get it to the private sector. But this coordination, it never happens. Somehow this is always, I mean, it's taken in a different way in different places. So this is something which is if we want to incorporate child rights or child rights protection in our practice, if you want to ensure right to health for a child, it is our job to provide as many vaccines for vaccine preventable diseases. To the parents per se, parents need to be instructed about specific behavioral who hazardous kinds of situations they may encounter and potential dangers they may get exposed to. This is what a well-child visit is an excellent opportunity to assess their awareness, preventive strategies that can be undertaken, praise the parents for their good practices, and assess disaster preparedness. So again, pamphlets, posters, all these things can be kept in their OPDs, in the clinics, and always remember, when a well child visit is there, we have to praise parents for their good practices. Not only praise parents for their good practices, we have to praise the child for following those good practices. So this is where the cycle starts. Once this cycle starts, usually the child will have a safe childhood, the child had a wonderful childhood, and they'll go out to be good adults. Again, to the parents, I'm strict right to health. Read what to give. None of us see what we are giving. So whatever food items, what their child is eating, none of us read what we give. It's time that we insist the parents to read what they give. If they have any doubt, either to ask you or Google it and see whether it will be safe to be given or not. How does it protect child rights? If you ask, yes, child, this is again, you're protecting child's right to health. So how do you child protect it? Read what, because what you eat is what you are. So basically, you need to read what you give. Again, screen time, there is enough and more studies and all those things. I'm not going detail of that. Give attention for your child school activity. Why this is very, very important is two things. One, If child is having one of the most essential, one of the 10 rights is right to education. So unless it is said that if you educate a child, the generational poverty, generational backwardness, everything will stop with that educated child. So it is very, very important to know that child is getting a proper education. School activity, what one more reason is one of the areas where a child usually gets abused, especially sexual and physical abuse is in school. So physical abuse, emotional abuse, I mean bullying, corporal punishment, sexual abuse, as I say. So if you see, if you ask the parents to daily spend at least 5 minutes or 10 minutes, just see how the child is in school. So how the child, what is it happen? How is it today? No, we can pick up these signs much early. So how are we doing? We are protecting child's right to education. We are protecting child's health. We are protecting everything when we give a simple attention to child's schools activity. Teach them to be a part of the society. Why this is important is one of the principle is non-discrimination, participation, and again it comes right to survival part. All these things we can only ensure if we teach them to be a part of the society. How do we teach them to be a part of the society? Is being part of the various festivals that we have in our country. The simple way, take them participate so they are aware of there are other things that other than what they are growing, there are other strata of people or other beliefs or other things that is there other than what they are growing up. This is I feel it's I mean a lot of people may not agree. Avoid places that which influence habits at least in early childhood. What I mean by this is most of the children follow what parents do. So what I mean by avoid places is if the child sees child father is or the parents is consuming alcohol or smoking, if they see and they are not reprimanded, the parents are doing it without any hesitation or without, then the child will think that is normal. Now how does it, how if you ask me what is the relation with child rights is again, see, because children are dependent on parents, so whatever the parents do the child might follow. So if you want a child to be having healthy childhood, then all these things should be avoided, because if they see it, they can start early and their adulthood also might have these problems. So avoid places which influence habits, at least in early childhood. These are two things is nothing difficult. One is helmet and car seat. Again, what is it? This is the right to life, right to survival, all these things. Helmets and car seats, helmets first and foremost, it is again, it is as society, it is not the government. Government can make rules, no, government can do a lot of things. But then it is us as society to follow those rules rather than okay, we'll pay the fine. No. Car seat, this is something which it is somehow, no matter what happens, it is not yet implemented that strictly in our country. Maybe there are multiple reasons, because car seats are expensive or whatever. It is at least those who can afford it is we must be advising them car seat, because some of the injuries that can occur due to accidents and all those things can be prevented. This is the last slide, but the take home message, most important thing I want to say is be aware. The first thing I told you is, as pediatricians, we must be aware of all these acts, especially if you want to know one act per se is POSCO Act. We must be aware it, because of mandatory reporting. We cannot tell that we do not know. Start simple and start small. See, I have told you so many things. See, this might appear like a moral science class, but actually it is not a moral science class. It is just basically, it is not something and most of the things what I told, all of us know this. So if you come to know, my point today's talk was not about to tell what you already know. It's basically how to tell you that how this is related to child rights. So basically, again, that's what I told beginning. Child rights per se is not about the laws and all those things, but then basically what we do, how it is going to protect a child is something we have to give importance to. Have time-bound measurable goals. And cooperation between government and so I give an example. And this is something called child-centered budget. For this, organizations like IAP, organizations like I cancel and all those things, we have to pressurize the government to have a choice. See, no matter what we want to do, it will be not possible without adequate funds. See, you might have 100 ideas, you might have so many things you want to do, but nothing is possible without money. There is no mission without vision. Sorry, there is no mission without money. Or no matter what mission you have without money. So how can we have money? We cannot generate that much amount of funds, but then we can definitely pressurize the lawmakers, because we have such a large body. I think 30,000 odd members, as far as I know, 30,000 odd members makes a huge difference. If we can pressurize the guy, I'm sure a lot of us, I mean, at least may not me, but a lot of other pediatricians per se will have definite influence in the government. But then we must push for a child-centered budget to have more allocations to all these things. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm not sure what else I have to tell. If anything else, Ashok sir can add to this. Today's talk per se was not about child rights per se, sir. It was just to some of the participation to a child rights. The minute to tell people think that we are going to tell them about the constitution, we are going to tell them about this thing. So half of the times, whatever people don't turn up. But I think it is time that we wake up and see that it's child rights per se is not about knowing the laws and all those. It's how to implement in our day-to-day practice, how to protect. That is all I wanted to highlight. And as you know, this week there is a lot of other programs. I hope a lot of people, at least some people will more participants, and at least it will start being what to say as a routine in our day-to-day practice.
Thank you, Dr. AB, for nicely putting up the child rights issues in the group. And I think the points raised by Dr. AB is absolutely right. One point he said is that you should have a contact with all these child protection agencies. And I have a couple of examples for experiences that, in fact, one day, one of the senior doctors has told me that there is a baby born in the hospital, the parent doesn't want there is an illegitimate child that doesn't want to take the child, and how to do away with that. And immediately when we talked to the child welfare committee, they took the child in 3 hours time. The child was taken into safe custody. Unfortunately, in the next day, we saw a paper news that the one baby was thrown away from the flat and the other baby was died. So this is how we can if you have some time to help them, it is always possible that the child is safe. And the last couple of weeks back, in fact, one teacher in a school suspected that the child is having some multiple injuries, and when I saw the child, I was sure that this is child abuse, and they were all afraid how to contact it. When the correct person was contacted, and the child was taken to the foster house within 24 hours. So this is how you can your single action may help the child. For that, as you said, is you should know whom should you contact, what are the rules and regulations of that. And second point he highlighted is definitely the sucking away the ego. That is more important as far as especially pediatricians are concerned. It is not the pediatrician who is important, it is the child is important. I think the session is open for discussion, and if you have any queries, we can have it. Yes, Venkatesan sir, unmute, please. Unmute, please.
Section is excellent, Abhidani. I want to ask you one question about the immunization. Is it mandatory that we should highlight about the available vaccines in the government sector when every child is coming to our OPD?
No, sir. That's what I told you, sir. There are a lot of times what happens is I'm
not audible. Not audible.
Yes, sir, I'm not talking about treatment per se, sir. I'm talking about protection of child. What does pediatrician want to protect the child's right? It is our responsibility to tell that child has to get these free vaccines. So there are two ways to get that vaccine. If the parents are affordable, they can get it from the private. If the parents are not affordable, it is our job to give them an option that is available there. So it is that you are supposed to guide them there. This is not talking about this. If you want to protect the child's right to health, this is the way to do it, sir.
The point is that how the best possible thing to the child. That is what we are supposed to do.
Okay.
So if the parents cannot afford, it is not in the best interest we are doing. It is the best interest that the child is given whatever possible is affordable by the parent. That is the best. I think that clear.
I did not say that all patients have to be sent to the private sector.
As we are working in the private sector, if we are repeatedly saying to the parents That will affect the institution also.
No, I don't mean that, sir. Tells you that I cannot give you vaccine. Then you have to give them a
Yeah.
Okay.
For the
The
man,
vaccines which are available in the government sector, they can take definitely from the government sector, and which are not available in government sector, they can take it from private sector. That should be our policy.
Right.
exactly, madam. What you said is absolutely right.
That was just an example, sir.
Yeah.
It's a very controversial topic.
No. It is there is no controversy in it. I think it is it depends on the economic status of the parents. Then that is more important. If a person cannot afford the immunization and you have to spend a lot of money on that, the child's other aspects, even the food will be affected. So you are not doing the right thing, and the right of having a normal, good, nutritious food will be affected just for your immunization. That is important.
Everything is linked, so that's what I told you. If you want to protect the child's rights, now you just everything. That's the thing.
I think
Suppose,
use earphone. That will be better because there is some fluctuation in the. Anyway,
That is
how it.
I think that is
Okay,
my Wi-Fi. I think, sir. That is the thing.
Take your question.
suppose the parents are not willing for the vaccination, then how to deal with?
That is beyond the scope of this thing. So basically,
Abhi, you can come close to the screen.
okay,
Then it is more audible.
Okay, sir. So that time, if the child's, if the parents are not willing to discharge, it's a matter of our part that we want to convince the parents. That's what I always feel. If we are not able to convince the parents, it's a matter of our part, sir.
No, unless and until the vaccination become mandatory, there cannot be any legal point in that.
No,
but you have to pressurize them, or that is only point which is possible with us. Jimmy, anything else?
Good evening, sir. Sir, I had a doubt. Dr. Manjushri.
Yeah.
Ask us.
And thank you, Dr. Ebi. It was a wonderful session. You said that it's not proper child rights that you discussed, but still I had a query. What provision does our law have for, suppose a child comes to us in a very bad state, suppose a very severe exacerbation of asthma, and the parents refuse admission and further treatment. They want to take the child home. What provision do we have in the Indian law to actually retain the child and continue treatment? Is there a provision that we have? Because right to health, as we say, is a child right. Most of the times we are not able to do anything, unlike the law elsewhere in the West.
This I will tell it not from the child's point of view, but as the medical ethics, ma'am. You cannot retain any child or parenting examples because if you do kidnapping, they can file a case against you saying that you have kidnapped the child against their wishes. One. Second is if the child comes, you have to take it in two ways. Either to safeguard your interest or child's interest. So if you are able to convince the parents for the child's treatment, well and good. But then if you're not able to convince the child, parents for child, it's better to safeguard your interest and make sure that you send the patient again to medical advice. If the parents are not reporting, the problem is not refusing the treatment. As of now, I don't think we can report it to Childline or we can't report it anywhere else. But then you can definitely notify your medical support that so and so patient has come. They would advise treatment. Child is very sick. You can inform them. Then they will decide what to be done. Because if something happens to a child at home, they should not be writing saying that you will not fulfill them or do not advise them. That's what things too interesting at the same time. What is the child and what is the outside?
Thank you, Doctor.
Me, anything? Anything else, Shimi?
So very well presented. I think so. These are, I think, so some of the issues that we always face. I think so was what was discussed, like how Dr. Manjusha as well as Dr. Rafiq put. But on this, on those aspects, I think so. We are really on, the starting stage of where a child will say that I want to be here, and then the parent has to say, okay, you can be there. It is there. It is happening in the West, but soon I think so it will be coming to this end of our country also soon.
So can we wind up the session? Thank you, Dr. Ebi.
So.
Now, sorry, Ebi, we will, I think, try to join the other programs of this week also. We will be sending the link for you also.
That I've got. Tomorrow's I've got, sir.
Tomorrow at 8 o'clock, Bala is from Kottayam. Adoption. Adoption is the topic. Saturday is trauma-informed care. That is something I wanted the pediatricians to take up in a better, important way. And Dr. Sheher told me that send me the link so that he will send it to the bank group also. So trauma-informed care is some important aspect we have to talk. Let us see.
Okay.
So thank you, Dr. Ebi, for that wonderful presentation, and we will get in touch. Then I will ask Secretary Dr. Soli Manuel to propose the vote of thanks.
First of all, I congratulate IAP Kerala and Ashok sir for his great initiative to work for upholding the child rights. And I thank today's speaker, Dr. Ebi Danny Verghese, for his excellent talk on the subject, on the topic. And next, I thank State President Dr. Shimni and Dr. Barjender, CAP Executive Member, and all the senior pediatricians who attended today's program, and all IAPians. Thank you.
Thank you all. And then we will call it a day.
Night.
Right. We'll meet tomorrow, 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Good night.